Ladies and gents, we are back with some TikTok content. It's been a long time, but boy, oh boy, do these go viral on my channel all the time. You guys must really like these. And you know what? They're kind of interesting. So we're looking at what is something Europe has changed your mind as an American. So these are always kind of interesting. Since I've done these TikToks a few months ago, I have really dived into a lot. You know, we dive into Australia, New Zealand a lot on this channel, the most. And we also delve into, you know, parts of Asia, a little bit of Europe, kind of just all over the world. And Europe is certainly fascinating, let me tell you. This is a video from TikTok Journal, and it'll be linked in the description down below so you can watch the whole thing uninterrupted.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go? I'll go first. I don't know about y'all, but I've had the chance to spend 2 weeks in Finland over the last couple years, and it's changed a lot about my perspective. But currently what I'm battling is that I just had to leave 2 supermarkets because our meat is disgusting. In Helsinki, all the salmon was so rich. I mean, granted, the harbor is right there, but literally the salmon was almost like grapefruit colored. Our sickly, nasty orange salmon. And it's like I don't even relate to chicken here anymore. The chicken wings in Finland are so little and crispy and light. The chicken wings here, the fat layer is just so thick. There's fat inside on the bone, like Finland literally would never. Even our beef looks gray. Our meat quality has to be making us sick because there's no way. These animals are sick and they're still feeding them to us. They cannot continue eating corn. We don't digest corn, neither do they. And even if they're pasture raised, what about the pesticides in the pasture? This country is 6 degrees of up. Finland, me please.
Yo, kind of hard to argue with those points, man. He brings up some very valid points. So what I can weigh in on personal experience as, first of all, I'm a little bit jealous. Like I really need to, or really want to expand my palate. I would love to see the quality of a lot of these foods in Europe, for example. So I hear about it in high regard pretty much all of the time. So that would be really fun to experience. You know, I realize you can buy high quality imported food here, you know, that's from Europe or from, you know, Japan or from wherever. But to me, it's not the same. I'm talking like actually go there, experience food on all levels at restaurants, food you can buy at the market, of course, and just experience how much better or more pure or cleaner it really is. That would be amazing. What I can vouch on is yes. To be honest, I don't, you know, judge anyone for what they eat, you know, all meat or vegetarian or vegan or whatever. I think everyone does their own thing. But me personally, I don't put myself a label on it necessarily, but I do eat meat sometimes. But honestly, lately, like probably the last quite a few years, I really just don't eat it a lot. And that's why I think, quite frankly, most of the time it just looks pretty gross in the supermarket. If I do eat it, it's usually at a restaurant where I feel like maybe it's decent, but, you know, I don't really know. So I tend to just stay away from it altogether. I also have watched videos exposing this, and I was well aware of, actually, even before watching videos, about how a lot of our food is colored, right? We're obsessed with, like, coloring things to make them look extremely vivid. For example, he mentioned salmon. I realize salmon is not supposed to be, like, neon orange. That's kind of weird, right? I would much prefer having salmon freshly caught, like he, in his case, in Finland, right off of the water. I think that'd be amazing. That'd be the way to have it. One problem I would have, too, is where I'm located, right? I've only lived in the desert in the Southwest, and then, obviously, most of my life here in the Chicago area. So, pretty far inland, not near any ocean. Seafood's never been my thing, and I think that's probably a good thing, because we're not near any oceans. Any seafood offered here is really, let's get real, not the freshest. So I will full on, honestly, agree with this guy. One gripe I have, even though I am a proud American, is the food, man. What is with all these chemicals and pesticides and coloring and all this stuff that's banned most other places? I don't know why we're obsessed with putting it in our food. I think the general public that knows this doesn't approve of this. I don't understand why it's a thing. And yeah, our food needs to be better. We need better food here. Let's step it up. Come on.
This is going to sound strange, but the milk in America really creeps me out. I'm not American, I'm British, but I live in America. And back home, our milk goes off within a few days of opening it. And it stinks, like it's got lumps in it, you can tell that it's off. But the milk in America legit lasts for like weeks.
Right.
And that really creeps me out. I don't know if I'm going crazy.
I agree with her. That is not right that it lasts for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's kind of weird, right? This was, you know, as a kid, I drank milk sometimes. But of course, now as an adult for the last at least 10 years, I don't. I just doesn't agree with me at all. But I do occasionally drink coconut milk and oat milk, I'd say. And those are okay, right? Yeah, not a milk fan personally, but I would probably try it if I was in Europe just for the hell of it. And I would definitely know in my head that this is probably more like milk. It should be. Let's just put it that way without going on a rant. So, again, kind of frustrating as an American, the weird choices you have in certain groceries, right? Oh, is this the window? Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so that is like genius. Actually, it's not genius, it's logical. But somehow, I've never seen this personally. If this might exist in U.S. homes, I'm not sure, so I can't speak for every single home here. But I have never personally seen it. I don't think that's normal. But I'm sure that is normal in different parts of the world. And I think that's super cool. You got the screen, right? You have this big, window frame that looks nice and it's nice and thick. And the fact that you can turn a handle and open it. Or the top one, you can like vent it or open it all the way. I think that's awesome. You can get a look at your view. You can get some nice breeze in the house. It's crazy. Like I have a window you can't see right here and right here, actually. And I mean, all you can do in certain ones is you flip a little lever and you can slide it up. That's about it, right? And I do have screens, let's see, on only one of them. So one of them doesn't have a screen. This one does. That's about it. Now, it's better than nothing, but the fact that this is a big double window like that and you can open them up, really, really cool. And I wish this was more common in U.S. homes. What the heck? Let's get on that.
No, okay. So it changed a lot of things for me. And when I was a junior in college, I went and lived in Ireland for roughly 6 months.
Cool.
And I spent most of my time, 99.9% of my time, in one area of Galway, which is in the western section. And it's a fairly good sized city as far as like Ireland is concerned. And so it changed a shit ton for me. One of the things that it changed that can never be replicated here, I do not care what somebody says, is safety. Because I was a junior, I was an American, I was in college, I was studying abroad, I was like 20 sheets to the wind every now and then, and I would walk home from the pubs. They close at 4, like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I'd be walking home after getting like some food, at like 4 in the morning by myself from Center City to my house. No problems. No problems.
Wow.
And I never felt unsafe one time.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good to hear that she got to have fun, have some late night drinks and food, and stumble on home with no worries, even at 3 in the morning. That is pretty impressive, to be honest. Now, this one is a little bit of gray area for people that want to be obsessed with like facts or obsessed with like, getting this correct. There's no correct answer here, but I don't doubt for a second that parts of Europe, in this case, Western Ireland, feeling really, really safe compared to her life in America or in the United States, obviously, presumably. I don't doubt that it felt safer. I think that's really cool. I think that's kind of the most important thing is safety, right? I mean, we're here to, wake up, live our life, and go to bed safely and not have any injuries or worse. Obviously, that's one anecdote. I think, of course, crime, unfortunately, exists everywhere on Earth, right? Like, everywhere has some sort of crime. It's just certain places have a lot and certain places don't have as much. The U.S. is kind of hard to gauge because there are so many different places within states, and there's so many different states, right? So certain places are extremely quiet and safe, and certain places are just a mess, and it's like a war zone. It's like, there's just so much going on here. So unfortunately, I think it drags our statistics down. I think most of the U.S. is relatively safe, but to be fair, I bet it doesn't feel crazy safe like maybe most of Ireland would. So that's good to hear that Ireland's safe. My anecdote would be where we lived. We lived in a very beautiful, nice community or a neighborhood, whatever you want to call it, in Las Cruces, New Mexico, down by the border, which even this goes to Americans. It's so funny, all the BS, like propaganda you hear on the news, acting like the border is dangerous or something. It is not. It's so peaceful and beautiful. And our neighborhood was extremely safe because I did see women alone or men alone, anyone, running, jogging, walking around our neighborhood at all hours of the day, all hours of the night, even 4 or 5 in the morning by themselves. And I never once heard anyone complain or had any incidents. Our safety score was like perfect there. So that's in the U.S., for example, and that was an extremely safe place. It was really refreshing. But like I said in the beginning, that doesn't mean all the U.S. is safe, and it doesn't mean that it's safer than Europe. I'm not claiming that. But no doubt, when you look at the stats, unfortunately, U.S. is nowhere near the top when it ranks to safety.
I don't know, this is just my experience and then the experiences I saw of people with them, but like you could be that drunk out on the thing, like, I'm gonna piss on a wall and I'm gonna fight you. The cops would just be like, all right, Joe, get in the car, we're gonna take you home. Get in the car, Joe. And they were just super nice. Like you were encouraged to walk up to them and be like, hey, you know what, I kind of need a ride. And they'd be like, all right, cool. Like, let's see if we can call you a taxi or we'll take you, like, get on, whatever. Super polite.
Yeah. That I like to hear. That's really good to hear. Obviously, you're going to have really good cops here, or you're going to have really bad ones. Unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of really bad ones. I have had bad experiences with cops personally. But one thing I used to hear growing up is like the cops were the good old days, right? The cops used to be really chill here for the most part. That's what it seems like. And it seems like they've gotten a lot more aggressive and things like that. So it's good to hear in modern day that you can reason with the cop. You can ask him, hey, you know what? I had too much to drink. I need a ride. Can you help me out? Or someone's acting kind of belligerent and goofy. But you know what? They just kind of tell them, like, knock it off. Let me help you with this, whatever. They don't escalate the situation, right? Unfortunately, that seems like the big theme nowadays for most communities here in the U.S. Unfortunately, it seems like the police want to escalate things. So yeah, I think that's one thing that needs a lot of work here. And in this day and age, just hearing a lot about things here in the U.S., it's good to hear that in Ireland you can go have a good time and not have to worry about a cop like beating you up because you said something goofy, right? Like, yeah, that's good to hear. I want to go to Ireland. Sounds like a fun time.
The other thing it changed, and this is really weird, but it changed me forever. So, Chinese food.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
So Galway is this like little international port. So the Chinese food that I had in Galway was like straight from whatever section of China the owner of that restaurant was from, and imported its food directly from that area of China. So they made cuisine that was not Americanized in any way, shape, or form. And so even in my wildest dreams, when I was there, I ordered like takeout. And it showed up at my door. It was raining hell. Like I hate rain. So I was like hiding. Anyway, that's another story. And so the guy knocks on the door. I have this Chinese food. And I called the guy I was dating back in America via Skype back in the day and was like, I've had the best Chinese food of my life. And then told my roommates who were Irish. And they were like, oh, that's nothing. You should go to this place. Whole different region of China. And it was just so good. And so now, no matter where I go in America, I have yet to have Chinese food.
Wow.
Nearly as good as I did in Ireland, and basically it changed me forever. So
that's really cool to hear. I definitely gotta have my wife watch this video. She would love to hear that. Man, sounds like we definitely need to have Ireland on our radar, because I would just love to go there for a lot of reasons. But that is really cool. A lot of people in my social circle like Chinese food a lot. But they do have trouble finding spots they like and spots they don't like, right? Most of the time it's spots they don't like. So, yeah, I imagine because of the unreal like population we have here, there's going to be some good, Chinese food, for example, or a lot of like bad quality ones, right? I'm not the biggest fan of that food in general, just because it usually doesn't agree with me. It's just not my favorite thing. But I would definitely try it if I was abroad, hearing that, because I bet, like she said, it is different. It's imported straight there. It's not Americanized. I bet it's just much better. I think that sounds really cool. And my wife, like I said, would just be so excited about that. So, yeah.
Getting a driver's license in Germany. I think it takes a few years, and I think about $2,000 to get your license in Germany. Any Germans can correct me on this if I'm wrong. But it's a rigorous process. It's not.
Yeah, that's rigorous. That's expensive and rigorous. Wow, totally different than when I got my driver's license for the first time at age, 16? It was, I don't remember how much, but it was really cheap. We're talking like less than $50. My driver's test lasted all of about 5 minutes. It was easy.
Not easy, and for good reason. You have the Autobahn, which are sections of the highway where you can go as fast as you want. The speed limit is 300 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn. So with that, you can't be a prick on the road. You don't own the road. If you act like you own the road and you're going slow in the left lane and you think the guy going 150 miles an hour behind you should slow down, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Big fines, big penalties. I've heard rumors about you could lose your license for doing that if you drive slow in the left lane on the Autobahn.
I agree with that. Too many people do that when I go on the highway here in the U.S. Get the hell out of the left lane. The left lane is the fast lane. It's in the name. It's that way for a reason. If people would just stick to simple rules on the highway, it would be so great. But unfortunately, you have some slow cars in the right lane like they should be, but then you have the middle lanes and then the left lane with slow cars, and it creates this barrier, and everyone's screwed. It's so annoying. Not to mention, you have some people going faster naturally and slower. And, the left lane loungers are absolutely the worst. Even if you're on a 2-lane road where it's a high speed limit, but it's just 2 lanes on your side. You have like a semi-truck or something, which of course they're going to be in the right lane. They're not going as fast. And then you have some dumb, SUV or minivan or whatever that's going the same speed as a semi-truck. So you have this whole line of people waiting behind the asshole in the left lane that's holding everyone up. It should be illegal. I think it is illegal. Get the hell out of the left lane if you're going to go slow. It's not safe.
The road maintenance and everything there is just amazing. The way they run their whole driving system. I went 126 on the Autobahn. The person in front of me on the left lane would move about a quarter mile before I would even get close to them.
They got us beat. That's amazing to hear. I would love to drive in places like that around the world that have their stuff together. They got good roads. Everyone generally kind of knows how to follow the rules and courtesies of the road and the highway. Oh, that would be a new take on driving, because as a car guy, of course, I love driving, and I do, but I would love it a lot more if it wasn't so annoying, some of the things that I like to gripe about driving around my local area. So having better roads, better stoplight things, ways they work, because ours just stay like red for 4 minutes, even if there's just a tumbleweed blown across, there's no one there. That's one thing I hate. And then, like I said, our highways are always under construction in Illinois. Always. My whole life they've been under construction. I am literally not lying. Look it up. And the parts that aren't under construction, people just don't know how to drive, and it's really frustrating. But you know what? That's going to be the end of this one, guys. These are actually pretty fun. It's been a long time. I don't know how these got shuffled away for like quite a while, but yeah, we're back with this one. I think this was really educational as always. So let me know your thoughts on this. Do you disagree with any of these you heard, or do you disagree with me? I do love a lot about America, but man, there are some things that are just like, what the F? Like, what are we thinking here, guys? There's other places that do that same thing just more efficiently and better. It just makes sense, and we choose to do it some goofy way. The biggest gripe, honestly, of all of them is the food. Why on earth does everything have so many weird stuff on the ingredient label? It's like a game now. Ever since we have truly beautiful, generous people on this channel, we get, for our mail time, we get foods mostly from like Australia and New Zealand, and even compared, let's say Australia versus U.S., it's like no contest. Like the Australian food has all these pure, like short ingredient list, as it should, and then our ingredients for like the similar type foods here in the U.S. have like 30 ingredients, and it's all like stuff you can't pronounce. It's not good, man. It's messed up. I don't know why on earth it's that way here. It's really frustrating. Smash that thumbs up button if you liked this. Subscribe to this amazing community by hitting that red subscribe button. And I tell you what, I'll see you in the next one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and I'll catch you later.